Welcome back to the land of the seven suns with Fishy Plantman as your host. Okay, I'm doing something a little different here. I got some plants down here that don't live here at all, but I don't have my staging area. I've showed that before. We'll go ahead and go over here. Yeah, there's my staging area. Seems that quite an important event is happening. They're all gathered around a manger there. Anyway, let me come back around. Yeah, staging area is consumed with Christmas. Or the holidays, however you want to put it. So, I don't have my staging area, but some of my plants are doing things. Some of them are growing, some of them are dying. Apparently this Phalaenopsis had a pest. I do think I may have taken a bit of scale off the middle there. Something's clearly been eaten at that leaf, though. And there was something that looked like it might have been a bit of scale. So I took it off and I hit it with a sledgehammer. So my thought is, I'm not sure if it was scale. If it was, I hit it over the head with a sledgehammer. If it wasn't, it was something else. Let's say a granule of salt. Well, if it was a granule of salt, I crushed it with a sledgehammer. I don't see a downside. If it was a pest, got hit with a sledgehammer, it's dead. If it was something inanimate, not even alive, well, it got crushed with a sledgehammer. It doesn't matter. If it wasn't alive to begin with, I didn't kill it. If it was a pest, a live pest, well, then I killed it. But something had eaten at that leaf. It is growing a new leaf, or was growing a new leaf. I don't suspect that particular leaf will get any bigger, although it might, who knows. So yeah, I either have or had a pest, and that is that for 3 minutes for a possible pest. Okay. Over here, we're back to this little elf hat. When I got it, it had this little thorn spike. I'm calling it an elf hat. And then it grew a leaf, and this, if I remember right, this little elf hat split open, a leaf came out, and then it got like a flower petal thing that was quite a bit bigger. And I thought, well, maybe it'll go back and forth between that and this and that. Well, maybe. But before going back to that, it grew 4 leaves. And now we got this again. And this is still a bit smaller. I think it's swelling and growing a little bit. But it seems smaller than the last one. Like I said, it grew 4 leaves. Maybe starting there. One with this one. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I just thought it was interesting that it came back to this after 4 leaves. Okay, so it's growing. It lost 2 leaves, but gained 4. So it's definitely growing and, doing pretty well. Over here, we've got the arrowhead. And its new growths that started after, taking that cutting there, its new growths are pushing. You can see a couple there. I think it's got a total of 4. One seems to have stalled. Doesn't seem to be enough nutrient. Is that yet another one? I think it is. Yet another one coming up. So that's 4 good ones, maybe 5. I don't know. This thing seems to have a new one coming up. Seems like every day almost. But if I can get in here, there's a couple. You can see them pushing up. And I left. This is turned wrong. But I left this. I said I was going to leave it for quite a while. I can't really turn it and keep it on here because this one here will kind of want to push it away from the tank, and it's close enough to the tank as it is. So if that keeps pushing, there it is. You can kind of see it in the black of the base of the tank there. It does seem to be pushing out new growth from the cut. Although if it's just that one, not good enough. That won't be good enough. But this is sending out new growth and doing pretty well. It loses leaves, but it's going to be replacing them. Here's my favorite leaf right here. Look at that. I don't know if it's got problems or what, but that's my favorite leaf. The start that I took, I don't know if it's dying or just sacrificing extra leaves because it hasn't got the roots yet to support them. But this one's still doing good. So it's still got 1 leaf. It started with 3. This is the second one that's pretty much gone. I think this crumply thing is the first one. Started with 3 leaves. We're down to 1. But it's healthy. And, yeah, we've been down this road before. That plant ultimately it did not make it. Its skeleton's still over there on the 55. So that's the start. There's still hope. We're running along at, I don't know, maybe a 0.3 on my how is your plant doing scale. 1 is growing. Anything below 1 is dying. Well, started out with 3 leaves. It's pretty much dying. Haven't seen any growth yet. But that one's still alive, so I guess I'll call it a 3. Over here, I thought that was just a new leaf, I guess. These 2 here. But I thought it was just 1 coming out at a weird angle. No, that looks like it wants to be like a baby plant, a pup, or a plantlet, or, whatever. I have had people ask me why I throw these, dead leaves. There's one from a completely different plant. That big leaf there's from the rubber tree. Why I throw dead leaves into pots. Maybe their own pot, maybe somebody else's pot. I'm pretty sure the last time I was asked this question was before YouTube. Never mind the channel, it was before YouTube. And I told them it's like fertilizer. And they said, well, it ain't doing anything on top. You got to cut it up and grind it up and make a tea so that the plant can make use of it. Poppycock. I say poppycock. No. These dead leaves that you're seeing on top ain't doing much of anything right now. But the leaves that I have thrown in 6 months, a year ago, that have broken down because I keep dumping water on the plant. I water the plant, and dumping water on. They break down and they eventually turn to dirt themselves. Those old leaves are feeding the plant. When these leaves are feeding the plant, there'll be more fresh ones. So, yeah, it's not these leaves that are feeding the plant. It's the ones that died before that you can't tell are a leaf anymore. Those are the ones feeding the plant along with the aquarium water, which has got, a bunch of, it had, excuse me, I choked while I was trying to say had. It had a bunch of minerals from the salt that I was putting in, and am now starting to put in again. I thought I was going to give a break so it could consume all the salt. Maybe I'll continue that, maybe I won't. I think the fish are getting some density back to their color. Seems awful fast, though. They might have just colored down because, the light had just came on or something that I wasn't thinking about. But anyway, I will make a cut and we'll come back to the fish because I've talked about the plants. Let me put them away and we'll talk a little bit about the fish. I will be back. Well, that was terrible. Terrible. Okay, back with the fish. Sorry, the reflection of my hand is showing up in that filter. But the fish. I went back to Eugene where I got him, the big mature male. And I found out something kind of interesting. And that is, he is, if I remember correctly, a red mosaic, big ear or Dumbo fin, male fancy guppy. So I thought, well, mine's not. He's gorgeous, but he's not a big ear, Dumbo fin, whatever. That is when the gene expresses itself properly, the pectoral fins, in this case, his are black, or at least they're supposed to be black, get larger. Not like the tail large, but larger. And he just is not expressing the gene. But that's what the tag said, is that he's got the gene, is how I see it. So if he's got the gene, his offspring, where are they? There's a couple of them. They might express it, or they might not. My thought is the breeder is probably keeping back, because I don't think I've seen any that were actually, and I'll just go with big ear. Because, Dumbo's basically the same thing. Dumbo's got big ears. So I'll just go with the big ear. Maybe the breeder is keeping all of the really nice big ears. And these are, rejects. There's nothing wrong with him. For the most part, he seems to be demonstrating the specimen quite well. He's got plenty of energy. He's got good colors. He just doesn't have the big pectoral fins to be a true big ear. But like I say, that tells me the gene is there, and his offspring might. I don't think I've seen it in fish videos, but I have seen a lot of talk about genes in reptile videos, in particular ball pythons. And when there's a gene in an animal that is not expressed in the phenotype, at least with the reptiles, they call it HEP4. HEP4 albino, HEP4 pinstripe, so on and so forth. That means you haven't got an albino or the other, what I just say, pinstripe. You don't have an albino or a pinstripe. Your snake, in this case, might be a common ball python, but the offspring could come out with whatever they're HEP4. And I'm not showing anything, am I? And that's how that works. So if he's got the big ear gene, I guess you could say he's hip for it. And these babies, or even the current babies in the other tank, might express the gene. So there's something there. There's the one, there's both the one that's looking really nice and just over here somewhere is that one that's got a funny body shape. But I thought that was interesting. Apparently, his offspring have the potential to get that big ear trait. Here's one to watch. He's not really showing the colors I've been seeing in him. That's the funny shaped one that, doesn't stand a chance of doing much of anything. But the other, if I can find him, there he is. He might be one to watch. There's a little bit shining. He's a gorgeous fish. Still young, of course, so it's hard to see his colors. But I see there's a little bit of yellow shining out in his body there. Yeah, I think he's a male and potential for really good color. And then there's a little tiny one in this tank. He's the last one to get any size to him. But that one might be worth watching. Worth filming now and then, just to watch how his colors develop. And like I say, he may end up with that big ear gene. If, there's any big ears coming out of this at all. Because I didn't see any at the store, despite the tag. But that's what the tag said. Anyway, working our way over. There's that plant again. So over here, we've got the mature breeders. She still does not appear to have dropped anything. Big as a house. She's shy. big as a house. She's got a gravid spot, but she's just not letting go of the babies. So, what is it? Tomorrow's the 1st, I believe, if I got my time right. I'm going to go ahead and separate these out between the young male, if I can breathe. It's not an emergency. I'm just, oh, screw it, I'll cough. Sorry. Yeah, between the mature male and this male. I'll separate them out. So that looks like it's probably going to happen the 1st or the 2nd. I'll go ahead and do it regardless of her dropping or not. I don't know. Maybe she's got some dropsy going on and she's big because of that. She does have a gravid spot. I do believe her to be pregnant. She's just not dropping, and I wasn't around when she coupled up or anything, but it seems she would have dropped by now. So I'll put her over, maybe the stress will induce it. If it does, I hope they're not too preemie, because it seems this happened last time too. She looked like she was on the verge of dropping forever, and then it finally happened, and I got, 5 babies total, and I'm not even sure they were all out of her. So I don't know if she's getting old and starting to develop problems, just needs to retire, or maybe she hasn't been pregnant for as long as I thought. I'm not sure, but I do believe she's pregnant and just not dropping, so there's that. So yeah, I think the 1st or the 2nd, I'll go ahead and do the swap around. She needs to go over into that other one. So, she is one that needs to move. Although I'm considering letting her stay here. In this one, just because it would be a little less stress. I don't know. I think she needs to go into the other tank and see what happens. She might retire here pretty soon, just for her own sake. I gotta quit that. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. Mostly I'm interested in, just how skinny does she get after she does drop. So, I will see if I can get some babies to swim into the film. And then I think we will be done with this video. Okay. Here's one. No, there's the baby on the outside. I think they can still get into that cage. I think. Sometimes they do. I see 2 or 3 in there periodically. See if I can get the phone down here without freaking them out. There's a baby. They're still pretty small. This one over here, maybe. Sorry. I can't make up my mind which one I want to try to film. There you are. So that's about how big the babies are. And there ain't no point in staying on for too terribly long because you can't see much. They're still quite small. So I think I'll call it a video because there ain't a lot out right now. That's just how it is sometimes. There's one, and there's one down in the rocks. But I think standing over them, filming the other fish has them pretty well spooked. So I'll call it a video, and I'll talk to you next time.